What is going on, everybody? This is NorthsideOG here. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoy it, and we're back with another video today. In this video, we're going to be doing Codex Section 5, the third one, which is the world Austria-Hungary. Let's listen to it, and then we'll get into the information after the Codex.
As the most multicultural of all the great empires, Austria-Hungary had 15 different language
15?
versions of its national anthem. While its internal workings, that often valued heritage over ability, left it somewhat in a state of decay by 1914,
State of Decay is a
the
great game.
empire still dreamed of expanding its influence throughout the Balkans and perhaps one day all the way to Persia. In 1908, Austria-Hungary had annexed Bosnia, making Serbia the next in line, and if Serbia fell, Russia would lose all influence in the Balkan region.
So, Austria-Hungary had 15 different languages for the national anthem. It was in a state of decay by 1914. State of Decay is also a really good game. You guys should check out. Xbox only. Also the Balkans and perhaps one day all the way to Persia. What? In 1908, Austria-Hungary had annexed Bosnia, making Serbia the next in line. And if Serbia fell, Russia would lose all influence in the Balkan region. Now, so much stuff has happened because of Austria-Hungary. So let's look at this. Wick. So Austria-Hungary is German for Österreich-Ungarn or Hungarian Austria Magyarország. You know, that's just a bunch of different languages I'm not going to say. Also known by other names, it often refers to as the Austro-Hungarian Empire. In English language sources, was a constitutional union of the Austrian Empire and Kingdom of Hungary that existed from 1868 to 1918, the end of World War One, when it collapsed as a result of the defeat of World War One. The union was a result of the Austro-Hungarian Compromise in 1867 and came to an existence on March 30th, 1867, when the compromise was ratified by the Hungarian Parliament. Austria-Hungary consisted of two monarchies, Austria and Hungary, and one autonomous region, the Kingdom of Croatia Slavonia, under the Hungarian crown, which negotiated in 1868. It was ruled by the House of Habsburg and constituted the last phase in the constitutional evolution of the Habsburg monarchy. Following the 1867 reforms, the Austrian and the Hungarian states were co-equal. The compromise required regular renewal, as did the customs union between the two components of the union. Foreign affairs and military came under joint oversight, but all other governmental faculties were divided between respective states. Austria-Hungary was a multinational state and one of the world's greatest powers at the time. Austria-Hungary was geographically the second largest country in Europe after the Russian Empire. It reached 621,538 kilometers to the second, which is 239,977 square miles, and the third most populous after Russia and German Empire. The empire built up the fourth largest machine building industry in the world after the United States, Germany, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. Austria-Hungary also became the world's third largest manufacturer and exporter of electric home appliances, electric industrial appliances, and power generation apparatuses for power plants after the United States and German Empire. After 1878, Bosnia and Herzegovina was under Austro-Hungarian military and civilian rule until it was fully annexed in 1908, provoking the Bosnian crisis among the other powers. Sandžak and Raška de Jur, northern part of the Ottoman Sandžak of Novi Pazar, was also under the de facto joint occupation during that period, but the Austro-Hungarian army withdrew as their part of the annexation of Bosnia. The annexation of Bosnia also led to the Islam being recognized as an official state religion due to Bosnia's Muslim population. So over here is the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1914, the beginning of World War One. So you see all these. This is Russia, of course, the biggest country. Um, and this is Austro-Hungarian. It probably would fit another one right here. So all this area right here would fit this, probably. So it was a really big country, had a lot of people. What's the anthem? That's just the beginning of the anthem. I'm not going to play the rest. But in Austria-Hungary was one of the central powers in World War One. It was already effectively dissolved by the time the military authorities signed the Armistice of Villagusti on November 3rd, 1918. The Kingdom of Hungary and the First Australian Republic were treated as its successors de jure, whereas the independence of the West Slavs and South Slavs of the empire as the First Czechoslovak Republic and the Second Polish Republic and the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, respectively, and the most territorial demands of the Kingdom of Romania were also recognized by the victorious powers in 1920. Let's play a little bit more. I just don't want to get, copyright claim. Yeah? Oh, this anthem is so good. Oh, yeah, oh. I want every once in a while talking stuff so I don't get claimed real quick or whatever Germany wants to do to me because I put their anthem in my video. But this is their video right now, so I'm gonna just talk over it. So this is Hoch als Herscher, Hoch als Weiser. This is what he just said because there's subtitles right there for you, just so you can see. It's called Gott erhalt Franz des Kaiser, Liebe windet Liberizer. Is this your national anthem in German? So right here, this is the civil ensign. This is the imperial and royal coat of arms symbols. This is a really loud. This is really loud anthem. Uncern Guten Kaiser Franz. Franz Gott erhalt Franz den Kaiser. Unsern guten Kaiser Franz. Über Blühen Gefilde reicht sein Zepter weit und breit. The motto is Indivisibiliter ac inseparabiliter. Indivisible and inseparable. Beiser der Sinn und Reglicht uns von seinen Wapenskleid Straut die Gericht Edict. This is a really long national anthem. This is really long. This is extra long, but really quickly you can hear in the background how loud this thing is. But you can also listen to it at the same time as I'm talking. Because if you just block out my voice while I'm talking over it, and you won't understand me as you're listening to the song at the same time, but YouTube's gonna pick up, so I'm talking over, so I won't get a really quickly claim. I won't get a claim real quick. So is this just good? So yeah, Nick. No vote. This is really long. I gotta say, this is a really long anthem. They should come on. This is the anthem. This anthem is called Gott erhat Franz den Kaiser. It's called, in English it means God save Emperor Francis. This is the anthem. Okay. You can hear me, right? You can hear me over the video, right? Yeah, you can hear me over the video, so they can't, it's not that, it's not super loud, but it's loud enough that I have to talk this loud over the video, or even the audio, whatever you want to say it is. That's Hauptsache Freiheit uns Empor. Fu erlaubt der Deutsche Lande. Deutsche Rocker. Oh, yeah. And customs union between the oversight and the other, the Austria-Hungary, the Austria, and the renewal, as did the customs union between the under joint oversight. But all other seat powers at the time, Austria-Hungary was the Austrian Empire at 16,000. I'm at 621,538. Alright, there we go. So that was the national anthem for Austria-Hungary. Um, I'm also gonna pause it real quick because I don't want to do anything. Well, yeah, that was their national anthem. If you could listen to the national anthem in the background of me talking over it, you would be good. You can listen to it. So this is the capital of Austro-Hungarian Empire. It was Vienna. That was the main capital, and Budapest. Languages: German and Hungarian. Religion: Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodoxy, Calvinism, Judaism, Lutheranism, and Sunni Islam. Government: constitutional monarchy, liberal autocracy, personal union, and dual monarchy. Emperor King: Francis Joseph the First from 1916 to 1918. Charles the First and Fourth. Minister slash President: Friedrich von Bust. 1918. Henrik Lamask. Prime Minister: Gyola Andrassy. 1918. Hanus Hadik. Legislature: Imperial Council, Diet of Hungary, Upper House, Herrenhaus, House of Magnates, Lower House, Abgeordnetenhaus, House of Representatives. This was the historical era. I don't know why I said area. This was the actual area. This was the population, 52 million, 52.8 million, preceded by Austrian Empire, succeeded by all these countries right here. Now let's go to during World War One. I just did a little bit of background. I'm gonna go to the World War One because I'm not trying to get into the actual entire country. So World War One, there it is. Russian Pan-Slavic organization sent aid to the Balkan rebels and so pressured the Tsar's government to declare war on the Ottoman Empire in 1877 in the name of protecting Orthodox Christians. This right here, the Congress of Berlin rolled back in Germany in the Russian victory by partitioning the large Bulgarian state that Russia had carved out of the Ottoman territory and denying any part of Bulgaria full of independence from the Ottomans. So this right here are recruits from the Bosnia Herzegovina, including Muslim Bosniaks. 31% of them were Muslim Bosniaks. Were drafted into special units of the Austro-Hungarian Empire as early as 1879 and were commended for their bravery in service of the Austrian Emperor, winning more medals than any other unit. The jaunty military march Die Bosnaken Kulmen was composed of their honor by Edward Wagner. Anxious about Balkan instability and Russian aggression to the counter French interests in Europe, Austria-Hungary forged a defensive alliance with Germany on October 1879 and in May 1882. This right here is an excerpt from the 1913 Austro-Hungarian Order and banned numerous social, democratic, and ethnic Serb culture societies in Bosnia-Herzegovina. If you want to read more, just pause the video because I'm not reading this entire thing. Status of Bosnia-Herzegovina. A proclamation issued by the occasion of the annexation of the Habsburg monarchy in 1908 promised these lands constitutional institutions which could secure to Their inhabitants, full of civil rights and share management of their own affairs, representative. Where is the? Oh, there it is. This is the beginning of World War One. On June 28th, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand visited the Bosnian capital, Sarajevo. A group of 6 assassins, these guys, from the nationalist group Mlada Bosna, supplied by the Black Hand. What's the Black Hand? Serbia. Alright. Serbia. Unification of death. Unification or death. Served by the Black Hand, had gathered at the street where the Archduke's motorcade would pass. Kabrinovic threw a grenade at the car but missed. It injured some people nearby, and Franz Ferdinand's convoy could carry on. The other assassins failed to act as the cars drove past them quickly. About an hour later, when Franz Ferdinand was returning from a visit at the Sarajevo hospital, the convoy took a wrong turn into the street where Gavrilo Princip was by coincidence stood. With a pistol, Princip shot and killed Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie. The reaction among the Austrian people was mild, almost indifferent. As historian Z.A.B. Zimin later wrote, the event almost failed to make any impression whatsoever. On Sunday and Monday, June 28th and 29th, the crowds in Vienna listened to music and drank wine as if nothing happened. As if nothing happened. This picture was associated with the arrest of Gavrilo Princip, although some believe it depicts Ferdinand Beher, a bystander. So this was the picture. As you can see, these are like the guards right here wearing these helmets and the cavalry swords on their side. And this is probably the guy right here that they're arresting. Or this one actually, because there's multiple guys on this one. There's only one guy on here. So this is the guy right here who shot and killed Ferdinand. If you don't know what Archduke Franz Ferdinand was, even though people acted like it was nothing, this was something. This was one of the reasons why Austria went into the war. He was, I forgot what he was. He was major. He was a person that I don't know what he did, but he was something in the country of Austria that made them go towards war. I don't know what he was. I don't know what he did. I forgot. But he was someone big. Now, escalation of violence in Bosnia. The assassination excessively intensified the existing traditional religion-based ethnic hostilities in Bosnia. However, in Sarajevo itself, Austrian authorities encouraged violence against the Serb residents, which resulted in the anti-Serb riots of Sarajevo, in which Catholic Croats and Bosnian Muslims killed 2 and damaged numerous Serb-owned buildings. Wow. Crowds in the streets in the aftermath of the anti-Serb riots in Sarajevo. Anti-Serb riots. Large-scale encouraged Austria-Hungarian on the demonstrations, violent demonstrations. There were many of them, many riots. Let's go down to where we were at. Okay, it's just not going to take us, so I'm going to have to find it. There it is. Down here. Decision for war. Causes of World War One. Causes of World War One. Controversial debated questions. The war began in the Balkans in late July 1914, ended November 18th, leaving 17 million dead and 20 million wounded. Does it polarization of Europe? That's one. July crisis, I guess. Domestic political factors, technical military factors. Those were all towards the war, causes of the war. While the empire had military spending doubled since 1878, Congress of Berlin, Germany's spending had risen 5-fold, and the British, Russian, and French expenditures 3-fold. The empire had lost ethnic Italian areas to Piedmont because of nationalist movements that had swept through Italy, and many Austro-Hungarians perceived as imminent the threat of losing to Serbia the southern territories inhabited by Slavs. In March 1914, Tisza wrote a memorandum to Emperor Franz Joseph. His letter had strongly apocalyptic, predictive, and embittered tone. He used exactly the Hitterian known word Weltkrieg, means World War, phrase in his letter. He wanted a war. Let's go down. Home front, Hungary in war. The heavily rural empire did have a small industrial base, but its major contribution was manpower and food. Nevertheless, Austria-Hungary was more urbanized, 25%, than its actual opponents in the First World War, like Russian Empire, 13.4%, Serbia, 13.2%, Romania, 18.8%. Military events. General von Hotstov was chief of the Austro-Hungarian General Staff. Franz Joseph I was much too old to command the army, appointed Archduke Friedrich von Österreich-Teschen as Supreme Army Commander. This is military events right here. This is the Serbian front, Serbian campaign during World War One. At the first start of the war, the army divided into two. It fought against the formidable Imperial Russian army. So it was the Serbians versus the Imperial Russian army. By the end of the war, the Austro-Hungarian army had taken no territory, but had lost 227,000 out of the total force of 450 men. So it lost like half. It lost more than half of the men, because 225 plus 225 equals 450. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But near the end of 1915, in the massive rescue operation involving more than 1,000 trips made by Italian, French, and British streamers, 260,000 Serb soldiers were transported to Corfu, where they waited for the chance of the victory of Allied powers to reclaim their country. For Corfu hosted the Serbian government in the exile after the collapse of Serbia and served as a supply base at the Greek front. In April 1916, a large number of Serbian troops were transported in British and French naval vessels from Corfu to mainland Greece. The contingent number over 120,000 relieved much smaller army at the Macedonian front and fought alongside British and French troops. The Russian front of 1917. What? Of 1914, 1917. This was the Eastern, this was Italian, Romanian, role of Hungary. Austria-Hungary held on for years. As the Hungarian half provided sufficient supplies for the military to continue the wage war, this was known as the transition of power, after which Hungarian Prime Minister Count Istvan Tisza and Foreign Minister Count Istvan Burian had decisive influence over the internal and external affairs of the monarchy. By late 1916, the food supply from Hungary became intermittent, and the government sought an armistice with the Entente powers. However, this failed as Britain and France no longer had any regard for the integrity of the monarchy because of Austro-Hungarian support for Germany. Analysis for defeat. This all happened. The Imperial Army, the Western Front, German Army, the Eastern Front, Armistice of Villa Giusti. This was a picture. The revolt of the ethnic Kazakh units in Austria in May 1918 was brutally suppressed. It was considered as mutiny by the Code of Military Justice. This is when they laid them down blindfolded against trees. The guys were over here. Bang, 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 bang. They executed them. That's what they did. They lined them up and they took them down. Consequences. There were many, many consequences. These were the successor states. So right here we have the Empire of Austria. All right here. This was in 1914. So Kingdom of Hungary was this big area in the middle. Bosnia and Herzegovina was this little place right here. But the yellow was all Germany. or no, actually, never mind. I don't know why I said all Germany. They Italy, Poland, Ukraine. These are all different countries. But this is all the yellow countries are all like not in the map, but focus more on the other colored, orange, pink, and blue, which took most of place in the Austro-Hungarian Empire or the area. Over here we have more area to show. That's a lot. Um, these are the flags. The naval ensign until 1918. The civil ensign, naval ensign of 1915. War ensign, and this was the Royal Hungarian Maritime Ensign. Coat of arms. We got small coat of arms right here. Common small coat of arms. The common medium coat of arms. Common medium coat of arms. We got a bunch more right here. Wow, there's a lot for this country. There is a lot of things. It's crazy. It's so much. So much. Oh, this is the Kingdom of Hungary. This was the largest cities in Hungary. This was the religions. They had a bunch of religions right here. Um, the Kingdom of Hungary was. This is the religions in Kingdom of Hungary. This is the religions in the Empire of Austria. Uh, language. They had a bunch of different languages here. Damn. This is a picture of the funeral in Glacia by Theodore Axentowicz. Towix. Oh, all these people, they had to go on horseback. They were walking in this very, very cold snow in 1882. Let's see. What else? What else is there? Just a bunch of these pictures. Ooh, that looks cool. The SS Kaiser Franz Joseph I of the Austro-Americana company was the largest passenger ship ever built in Austria. Because of its control over littorals and much of the Balkans, Austria-Hungary had access to several seaports with this big-ass ship. The start of the construction of the underground in the Budapest, uh, the canal. This is a railway. This railways. You see this word? We will get into this word later on. Railways. What's inside the W? We don't know. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. So like always, stay healthy, stay sexy, and I'll see you guys in my next video.